So, Ms. Edwards, thank you for talking with me today. Could you give us a quick introduction?
I'm Aminata Lawton-Edwards, 5th grade reading and social studies teacher here at Peachcrest Elementary School. I've been teaching for 3 years, and all 3 years have been in Dekalb County.
So, how are you using Classworks with your students now?
Okay, so I use Classworks daily. In our classrooms, we have one-on-one technology, so each student has their own Chromebook that we use in the classroom. I use it in our reading centers. It's a specific center. It's called the Classworks Center, where students, I either give them an assignment for the week or they just work from their individual learning plans. If I give them an assignment, it's going to be on the standard that we're focusing on, so then I can go in later to see how they're understanding the standard specifically, and then their ILPs, just making sure that they're getting specific skills that they need anyway. So I also use it for RTI, just meeting with those 4 to 5 specific students on what they need, specifically fluency, comprehension, language skills, and their progress monitoring weekly so that I can gauge where they are and how we're moving forward.
Okay, so you've only been using Classworks for a short while. What would you say has been the biggest benefit to you and your students?
I think the connection that it has, the link between the NWEA MAPS testing and where students are specifically is great, because we focus so much on how important MAPS tests are, so they're really giving their best there, so I really get a good gauge data-wise of where they are and what they need help with. And as an educator, I'm going through the learning continuum on NWEA anyway to see where they are, but it makes it so much better to just have a system set up that is already getting them exactly where they are with whatever resources they have available.
So, Ms. Edwards, how important do you feel it is to have that dedicated intervention time for your students each week?
It's really important to make sure my students that need that dedicated intervention time, and even students that are already on level and on grade level and moving beyond grade level, get that intervention time, because we want to make sure we're reaching students where they are and moving them forward. Generally, when I'm moving in front of a whole class, I'm just trying to generally reach everybody on one standard, but when I have even just 15 minutes a day to sit them down with Classworks, it makes it really easy to give them individualized assignments that are meeting them where they are. It makes RTIing easier, the RTI process easier, because I don't have to scramble to find assignments for them. They're already there in the system for them.
So how did you introduce Classworks to your students and help them understand why they were using it?
Okay, so I connected Classworks back to the NWEA maps. We really push that, the focus of that here, so that teachers understand where their students are, so students understand where they are in comparison to other students and how they're growing throughout the year. So I made that connection back to MAPS. I told them that Classworks basically just picks them up from wherever they are on MAPS and pushes them forward, and that it's really important that they spend their time on Classworks wisely, and that they're continuously pushing themselves to meet mastery goals and to better themselves, so that they're moving forward and getting closer to being on grade level and above grade level.
So can you give any specific examples of where you've seen a change in your students since they've been using Classworks?
Okay, so in the short time that we've been using Classworks so far, I've really seen a change in their engagement when they're finishing up assignments. They've always gone to pull out a book, but sometimes it's a little bit harder to get those early finishers or students that when they're done to engage in something that's continuing their education. But when they're done with assignments, now that Classworks has been introduced, they're quick to raise their hand and say, "Can I get on Classworks for a few minutes?" And they're continuously engaging in their learning and pushing themselves forward, because Classwork does it in an engaging way.
So, Ms. Edwards, you guys are already doing some pretty amazing stuff with Classworks, and we are so excited to help you keep that momentum moving forward. Thank you so much for talking with me today.
Thank you so much. We love Classworks.
Great.